for starters, tell us your name and where you're from.
Mike Chamberlain. I'm from the Tampa Bay area.
From Tampa Bay area.
Tarpon Springs.
Okay, I know Tarpon Springs. I lived in Orlando for like more than 20 years, so I definitely know the area. Okay, and where do you live right now?
Right at the moment, I'm in Envigado.
Envigado.
In an Airbnb.
Okay.
And I'm actually renting a room in a family's condo.
Okay.
So, and it works for me.
And so why did you choose Medellin to come to?
I've pretty much been everywhere. I've always wanted to do the digital nomad thing.
Okay.
You know, just checking out where the hot spots are and things like that. But I haven't done it, you know. But I've explored locations, done research. But I've been to a few places and check them out, like Ecuador, Cuenca, you know, that's a popular spot. But yeah, eventually I'd like to check out some other areas, but I really like it here.
Okay. Yeah, one of the biggest thing I've noticed here is, like I said the other day, all the malls. All the malls that they have here is just, it's amazing. They got a shopping center for everything, with everything.
I'm not a mall person, but it's very convenient to have everything like 5 minutes from your house. You know?
Right.
Everything.
And I mean, just for the people watching aspect, I enjoy that. So coming to the mall and be able to walk around 5 floors all day, you're bound to not see the same person twice. You know?
Definitely.
So.
And everybody here is super friendly.
Super friendly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience to speak about. I mean, I've been here for 3 months, but I'm mostly talking to like cab drivers and you know, waiters and waitresses and you know, just people I meet. But yeah, people are very friendly.
And so, what do you do for work?
I do a little bit of everything: web design, development. I build websites and flip them, you know, get them to profit stage and sell them. Various different things. Search engine optimization is mainly what I do.
Okay. And you're paid in US dollars?
Oh yeah.
Paid in US dollars?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what about as far as banking here goes? Do you have a bank account here? Or do you keep yours in the States?
Right now I'm still set up on, you know, my American accounts and everything. The process here to open a bank account, you have to get a cedula, which is, you know, like a local ID.
Okay.
So in order to get that, you have to, you know, apply for it and get a visa. So I haven't done that yet, but that's the process.
Okay.
But you could use any ATM here with your American bank card, and I haven't had any problems using that.
Have you felt that the conversion rate is pretty good when you use your card, or better doing like Western Union?
I haven't done the other, but it's not much of a difference. All I know is when they ask you in the machine if you agree to the fee that they're going to charge you, never agree. It's always better to not agree, and that leaves it up to your bank to give you the rate, and then your bank is usually better.
Okay.
I learned the
say no to the fee.
I said no several times. So
okay.
I mean, I said yes several times. Agreed.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
and I have as well. I've done it twice, so now I'm like, okay, I know for the future not to get caught like that again.
The other thing about banking I hear, if you can use a different machine besides Bank Colombia, they tend to fail on foreign cards, so you won't get your money.
Right.
But they'll act like you did, and usually, I'd say about 80% of the time it gets resolved. Yeah. Eventually, but that kind of sucked if, you know.
Things do happen though. There are a lot of things that are two-sided. That's just one of the examples. Yeah. You know, we can even talk about the menus at restaurants being two different ways for foreigners and locals.
Yeah, I mean, I believe I experienced gringo pricing here. I mean, I'm about as gringo as you get. So,
but being a digital nomad,
a little bit more. I get it. I mean, some people get upset over it, and I would too. You know, it's gonna make a difference between me.
Right. But what makes you feel like it's gringo pricing? Like, how do you know? It's not in a place like this that has a menu and set pricing. No. This is like a marketplace. This is the.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you a few times, there's a few things that I oddly paid a lot more for.
Okay.
Like $8 for sunscreen, you know, I mean, it's stuff like that. I mean,
Okay.
you know, where they don't have the prices and it's not a major store, you know. But anywhere in the mall or anything like that, of course not. You know.
Right. It's a more commercial
Yeah.
area. Business going to be straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're buying from street dealers, they're always gonna, you know, mark it up. And
Right.
that could happen anywhere, stateside or here, doesn't matter. So.
Right. That's true. That's very true.
But yeah, not too bad. But yeah, you'll get gringoed, especially me.
Working out here, like what, in the mall,
So
in
the options-
offices,
the options-
consultation.
Yeah, the options for Americans are pretty limited working here. Okay. Well, first of all, you don't really want to because you'll get paid in pesos.
Okay.
There are American companies, if you speak English, you know, that hire. They have call centers over here, customer service, sales. There's a lot of companies over here, a lot of
Okay.
technology companies. But you know, they don't pay well. So your best option is to have a job where you can work remote, whether it be teaching, something in technology, something over the phone, support, sales.
Okay.
If you can get paid in American dollars, I mean, you can afford to work part-time here,
Mm-hmm.
and you know.
So it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I've been looking into the teaching of English classes.
Right.
And the processing on that, whether it be an actual class, physical area, or online classes, or Zoom sessions.
Right.
Medellin's definitely a little bit more developed than Cartagena. We wouldn't be able to find as many people with laptops over there, but
True.
in Medellin, it seems to be they're pretty up to date with something like that, or even phones that they can log in and have Zoom calls, Skype
Right.
meetings, things of that sort.
But I mean, you have every industry here, banking, insurance, they're all wanting to hire American or English speakers
Okay.
because they can pay them, I think the minimum wage here is something like $350 a month.
Okay.
That's crazy. You know?
$350 a month.
So an American can expect to maybe get like $600 or $800 a month, maybe, if in a support sales type position, where they pay the same $4,000 in the U.S.
So then
if-
maybe you'd want to get
they're
hired by a big company that wanted you to like teach English to their workers so they could advance them.
That's true. You could work in, you know, but they still don't want to pay high down here,
Right,
you know. So
right,
either way,
okay.
but there's a lot of Americans that accept the lower pay because I mean it's all
living lower.
relational. you
Right,
know?
right. It's all relative.
Oh, yeah.
We're not needing as much.
No,
You
I
know?
mean, to be honest, I mean, you know, 25% of your U.S. budget, if you take some things into consideration, like for instance here, you don't need a car.
Right.
I mean, I used to pay almost as much in car insurance as I do for everything here, including food, rent, everything.
Wow.
No, I'm not.
Wow.
Well, I had some teenage kids at the time, but you know, I mean,
Right.
yeah, $900 a month. Yeah, you could live here for $1,000. You know, if you know you're not like too particular. I mean,
And
but
that,
I'm
and
not.
that's just $1,000 a month for everything.
I'm not a drinker. I'm not a partier. I don't, you know, go to the strip clubs and you know that
Okay.
kind of stuff. I'm not into any of that. As a matter of fact, I usually don't even really go out much at night unless I'm meeting somebody for dinner or something like that.
Okay, so you're pretty conservative. You
Yeah,
know,
but I
you
eat
live
out every
there,
day.
you work.
I eat out every day in nice restaurants, in malls and places like that.
Okay.
And you know, you can eat out $300 a month for me personally, easy. And that's eating well. You know, I mean, it's not.
That's eating well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that although it is more developed, it is a little bit cheaper than Cartagena. But it has
that's
way
what I
more
hear.
to do. It has a lot to do.
Yeah.
The clothes are so cheap. The clothes are so cheap. The marketplaces are very cheap. You can find whatever. I mean, there's a lot of knockoffs as well. A lot of counterfeit
Yeah, you
things,
educated
but-
me on that yesterday.
Yeah, you know, you have to definitely watch your stitching here and see if things are coming with authentication labels
This ain't
and
Miami,
codes.
man. This ain't Miami.
Yeah, I need certificates for it all, you know. How long do you plan on staying here? Like, if you don't go through the whole process of that visa, so you have regularly 90 days, and then where would you go?
I'm going home, visit my kids for a while next month.
Okay.
My 90 days is up. So, you know, you could just go to the border and get another 90 days, come back in. But, yeah, I want to go home for a visit, and then I'm going to come back here. And like I say, I'm new to this game. This is my first location.
Okay.
I've done research for several years and digital nomad. Like I say, I've traveled to many different places to check it out, but actually staying there for a length of time, like this time, 3 months, yeah, it's definitely an eye-opening experience. And I learned a lot before I came. Join a lot of the Facebook groups and digital nomads. Muchas gracias. And expats and things like that. And all these questions will be answered probably by, I mean, definitely by people who are more knowledgeable than me.
Okay.
But if you follow them for like 6 months, every question will come up, you know.
Right,
and
right.
just do your homework, and there's a lot of things, you know, little idiosyncrasies that, you know, you'll learn over time, and we're learning, you know,
Okay.
like how light the car doors are.
Right.
And how they hate
car doors.
when Americans just slam them, you know, but you know what I'm saying.
Right, right. They're looking at me crazy, but I'm so used to that, you know, that Dodge, that
Right.
Ford. You got to make sure it's slammed, you know.
I feel strong here.
What do you feel is the culture, the spirit of the people here in Medellin? Like, what are they focused on? What are they doing? What's like the aim or the reason for getting up and going to work?
Family. It's very,
Family oriented.
very, and close knit. You know, it's common here for a lot of young people to live with their parents and even their grandparents. They take care of their elderly,
Okay.
which I love. You know, who wouldn't?
Right.
And the reason the young ones live with the parents is because, like over here, everybody owns their houses. There's no mortgage. I mean, lately there's some mortgage, but you don't want it. It's a very,
Okay.
very small percentage, and it's like 12%. You know, and they'll finance like 20% of your house. You know, but you know, we'll look at it and say, well, but you can buy a brand new condo here for $75,000, no big deal, right? But to a Colombian on their salary, it is a big deal. It's impossible for a young couple to buy a place if they're renting.
Right.
So to have that extended family, you know,
That support
household-
to help you get up to the next
Yeah,
level
yeah.
just a little bit.
Right, and these are all more dangerous in Medellin. For violent crime, crimes against women and hate crimes are much lower.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is that. So yeah, I mean, you have to look at the statistics in a different
Right.
perspective. Where at least here, you pretty much go anywhere in a safe time of the day.
Right.
So that's good. Yeah, just don't wear jewelry. Don't look like you have money. It's not part of the culture here anyway. For people to flaunt possessions.
Right, but that's the thing. They might not be flaunting possessions, but they flaunt their clothing brands. The brands that they wear say, I have money.
True.
And they're not getting hit.
Oh.
Like an Armani shirt says, I have money. A Gucci
Right.
shirt says, I have money. If I see you with a Louis Vuitton purse, you're saying you have money.
I'm not saying Americans are more vain because in actuality,
Louis Vuittons, they do have iPhone 13. So things they possess do say they have money, but they're not being robbed.
well, and also another statistic is if you look at, you know, plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah.
For a poor country, they do a lot here.
Right.
It's very important. You know, a lot of girls, they want that
That look.
cartel wife's look with the butt and
And the rest.
and if they don't have it, they're gonna have it.
Well, what I like about Colombia too is that the women do stay in the gym. They're not naive about competition or what beauty looks. They're realistic about that. They do work out. They do stay healthy. They like their long black, long hair. You know, so
Yeah.
those are things.
And that's part of the culture. We were talking last night. It's a healthy lifestyle. So you don't see a lot of heavy people here. You don't see a
No.
lot of sick people. You don't see, like I was telling him, I haven't seen one mobility scooter yet.
Right, there's nobody on walkers here. Even some of the more elderly people, they're still walking with a straight up.
And if you see
Straight up
somebody
back.
that's, you know, heavy, they're not.
They're not
Ginormous,
obese. They're
yeah.
thick. They're
Right.
thick. They're muscular. You know, it's totally different.
But it's the lifestyle. They don't get in the car to go everywhere.
Well, also these inclined mountains that you have
Rollerboard.
everywhere, Like, you feel it within the first 7 steps that we're having to engage these thighs if we're gonna make it up this mountain. We're gonna have to engage them.
Well, I'll have to invite you over sometime because, like I was telling you, it's 4 minutes downhill. It's about 25 up, and it's brutal.
And it's hard.
But I like it because it's just the perfect workout, you know, where you're a little over it when you get 20 minutes. I mean, it's not that bad. But it is basically a stair stepper for 20 straight.
Right. So, what would you suggest to a person, another expat that's trying to retire here, or a digital nomad that's looking to set up shop here? Like, what's going to be one of the pros? What's going to be the biggest con?
Main thing is do your research first. Second thing is visit first. You know, I told you I came here before, but I've been to many places in Central and South America, and did my research first, eliminated a few and checked a few out. But visit for a good amount of time. I came for 10 days in the fall.
Okay.
And then finally decided, after all the research and everything, it's like, I can make that work. You know, it's a good starting point. I was telling you I was considering Asia, maybe like Thailand or somewhere like that.
Okay.
But the disadvantages, at least immediately, is the clients I work with are mainly still in like my area in Florida, but you know, basically East Coast if I do work with somebody out of state.
Okay.
It's very difficult to work with that time zone thing.
Right. The hours difference.
And I haven't done it before, but I've certainly worked on the production side where I've, you know, had some virtual assistants that are like in India and Pakistan and stuff like that. So it works like this. It's like a client hits me up at like 11 a.m. and, you know, I need something, you know, so by the time my assistant gets that project, it's 2 in the morning. And my client who asked at 11 a.m., he may have been expecting that by 3 or 4 p.m.
Right.
I hadn't even got it yet, you know, so, and then once it's done, he may have a question. I may not get that question back until the next day.
Right.
So it would just be the same thing, except on the order side, not on the production side, and it's very difficult to work in that environment. Plus, if a client, you know, if I have to make a sales call at like 10 in the morning on the East Coast, that's like 11 p.m. at night for me, you know. I'm not a night person.
Right. It definitely makes it getting in touch and coordinating with everybody a lot more difficult.
And also, we talked about the flight. Not only the expense of it, it's $800 to $1,000 just one way, and it's anywhere from 24 to 40 hours to get there. So entry requirements are loosening up there, but it's still a little bit of a hassle, you know, regulation-wise.
Okay.
Here, if you do come here, all you have to do is the MG app.
Yeah.
And just do that app. I messed up first time, showed up at the airport, not done. So last minute.
But it's so quick. They say you can do it up to an hour before your flight.
It's so quick if you have a Wi-Fi connection. You got enough, you know, if you're.
And you're set up.
And the app has issues, so some people are not able to get it done.
Yeah, the app.
And actually miss their flight. So get it done the day before, in case you.
It bugs out a lot.
Right.
Yeah, and sometimes the app's working, but not the web page, and vice versa. So.
But it's required. They won't even let you on the plane.
No, they won't. And what was funny was because they didn't ask me for my checkmate this time until I got in Colombia.
And that's just a health questionnaire that you have to fill out when you come here.
It's a health declaration.
And you have to have your vaccination card as well.
Now, it's the same for Panama because Panama has you sign a health declaration as well, but they also have a digital mobility pass. So the mobility pass isn't mandatory to get into Panama, but it is mandatory if you want to go inside any establishment.
They had that here for quite some time.
Okay.
Where you had to have proof of vaccination if you wanted to go in a store, bank, or a mall.
Right.
They handled the pandemic very well here. As you'll see, there's still people wearing masks.
Right.
There was no really uproar or complaint or anything like that, and their numbers turned out pretty good. So Colombia is about the same population as Florida. believe it or not, as a country.
Okay, as a whole.
Yeah, and they fared pretty well for a third world country. Well,
Yeah,
I say third world country. I hear that a lot. This is not a third world.
And when you come here, you will see that. But we have no phrase for second world. We only have first world and third world.
I don't
and
even
so
know
they try and create this crazy gap.
I don't know what the qualifications are, and I don't even know if that's offensive for me to say it's not third world, because for some it is. You know,
But I mean, it'd be equal with people that are sleeping on those church steps in Florida.
But don't expect a third world country here. You'll find it, but
Right.
you expect first world. Look at Panama, and there's places you can live in the United States cheaper. Fact. I mean, but you can find a place in Panama, but it's going to be pretty far from the city.
Right.
And for the short time I spent in Panama, I didn't care for it.
No.
Just to move to like a beach location, it would be more of a chill vibe than that. And especially, you're going to pay pretty American prices if you want to stay in any nice area.
Anything worthy.
Now, anyway.
Okay.
The time to go to Panama was about 15 years. You could buy a piece of land. And you're not going to find the conveniences there, I don't believe, that you're going to have here.
Okay.
The infrastructure, transportation.
Okay.
I mean, you've been here a short time. You see how easy it is to get
Right. In-driver is definitely my friend. I love being able to put my own prices in, and then they can counteract. When I put one in and everyone shoots back, I know I've shot too high. Just cancel and start again.
And you went on the metro too.
Right, and I did the metro. The metro is fun. I like that. That's it's very clean. The metro is very clean.
If you get on the metro, it's usually fine, but during rush hour, it is so packed. It's just make sure your things are secure.
Right, it's so many people right on top of each other.
Absolutely. I mean, it is packed. Yeah, it's crazy. But there's the I'm an infrastructure nerd because, like I told you last night, I'm legally blind, so I don't drive.
Okay.
So in the U.S., especially Florida, to get around.
Yeah. Public transportation is not a thing.
I could Uber everywhere, and I could probably, for what you pay for a car and insurance, I could probably Uber everywhere.
Right.
But the thing is, meeting people and getting where you need to go.
Right.
And here they have that metro that is fairly new. It runs north and south the entire strip.
Okay.
And then,
is that the cable car you're referring to?
No, the cable car is actually connected to it. And this is one of the very first metro areas in the world that is using the cable car as public transportation. What they did is a lot of the communities up in the hill areas, usually the poorer areas like Comuna 13 and things like that, they were pretty isolated up there. Imagine walking down, and then every day you got to walk back up because it's not really drivable. They don't have roads that, to get up there.
So it's a hike. It really is a hike.
It is really like. It would be a real process to get that. You'll see when you get up there how steep.
Right, when we go to check out Comuna 13 this week.
It's house on house on house on house. So very narrow streets, not a safe area, and you want to send your daughter down to school in the city, to walk through all those neighborhoods and everything, and then to walk. I can't imagine just going to my apartment up a paved road. Imagine walking those cobblestone, to get up there. So that really impoverished them. It's separated them from all the opportunities
that they can
on.
have. Okay.
So that opened it up, and that's part of the reason why Community 13 turned around. It worked both ways. It brought the tourists up, and it brought them down. And so this is a way people commute. When I went up there, you see kids on their way to school and people in their nurse uniform back up, who work down here. It would have been impossible for them to work down here. So there were no jobs up there. So it is their public transportation. And if you pay to get on the metro, don't get out of the turnstiles because you don't have to pay again to get up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, once you're on, you go, and then you can continue with your cart, and you can go right up the mountain.
Okay. And Community 13 is high up in the mountain.
It's pretty high.
It's pretty high.
It's not as high as like if you go to like Park Arvilla
Or La Palmas.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But yeah, it's a beautiful view. Yeah, but it's just a different area than here. You know, it's very slammed together, very poor construction. It's the slums, but it's getting nicer. And since that it was opened up and tourists actually go there, that's partially what turned everything around for that community. Like you say, it was the most dangerous city in the world just 15 years ago.
Right.
You would never go there. Now people are paying to go there. I recommend you, if you do a tour there, I don't know the name of the organization or anything, but there is a local community group that takes their students or their youth, and they will tour you. And they get paid to do that, and they also share with their charity that helps out the community as a whole.
Okay.
There are private tour companies and things like that, but and most people do use the local group. So that's what I did, and it was a good experience.
Okay.
Cool. And they'll explain from a true perspective, a personal perspective, of what the change means to them.
Right.
What the art means to them.
Okay.
They'll explain it, you know, and then how people live there and what it was like. And, they have the escalators there. That is another tool to get people up and down the mountain.
Right.
It's literally escalators.
Just zigzagging all the way up.
Crazy, yeah.
Okay.
Outdoor.
Okay, that's nice.
Covered, but it's kind of weird to see like outdoor electrical escalators just going up.
Okay. So where do the expats stay in Medellin?
Traditionally El Poblado, where you're staying.
Oh, okay.
In that general area. It's a good area. If you're here for a short time, it's probably the best area for access.
Right.
To do the touristy things. It's the residential areas, the mall area.
Those mall plazas that we're at last night. Those are the gems of El Poblado.
The thing I love about this city, and we talked about this before, is the greenery. This is one of the greenery.
You can find the plants everywhere.
It's like if you. I described to you last night. How did I put it? New York City in the 80s.
Yeah.
And drop it in the middle of like the Smoky Mountains. That kind of like where New York City. Why I say New York in the 80s, where it's a big city, but it was still attainable to everybody on any economic scale. So you still had graffiti and a little bit of crime. It's a little bit gritty, but they still had Fifth Avenue and Central Park and fancy restaurants and stuff like that. So it kind of has that feel. It's a big city. As a matter of fact, Medellin is, I was surprised to hear, it's the third most congested city in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Based on population per capita.
An area.
Okay.
But it is a congested city, but you don't feel it. The traffic's bad, but only on really certain thoroughfares, like the one right out here, and down in El Poblado where it gets gridlocked.
Right.
Like we were yesterday.
Now, what was one thing that you learned the hard way when you first came here? Because you don't speak Spanish, right?
That's hard. Yeah.
Okay. So
now that's the other thing. If you do want to come here and you're worried about language barrier, you will find more people in El Poblado that speak the language or that speak a little
English.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no other area, I don't believe, even in Morelos, which is another
affluent area,
the second
nicest area.
Yeah. Preference for U.S. Even now, I don't. Even the desk people, they don't speak any English.
No.
So, yeah, and it can be difficult, but there is apps.
How do you make it?
It's a little bit tougher being legally blind. You've seen a few times.
Right.
Actually, we were out yesterday, and it turned into evening. I only had my sunglasses, so you turned in my seeing eye person. call me Ray Charles.
Yeah, right. I thought you were gonna be underneath one of the buses. I was scared for you.
We're crossing the street. He's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "I'm following you, man."
Yeah, let's go. For real.
Since they would make it harder because I can't see. Because I don't know if you notice, like the mask hurt people in understanding. Like you can't really read their lips
Right,
and
you
stuff.
can't even really speak clearly.
So I never could do that in the first place. But like, the other day, I was at the grocery store checking out, and the lady just assumed I could read the total. And I was trying to ask her, Quinta. We had this discussion too. She didn't understand Quinta or whatever. Quantos. And I even had my calculator, like Quantos, asking her how much it is. And I understand she probably thought that was weird because the number's right there, But I didn't have the language to say, I'm legally blind and I can't see that.
Yeah, ya no vi.
So I look weird here a lot.
Yo no puedo ver.
So you gotta have thick skin and not care what people think.
Right.
But for the most part, I think people don't mind me, It's like, she wasn't rude.
Right.
We got there, we got through the transaction, So.
Okay, that's good then.
Yeah.
So when you what would be your next place? I mean, as a digital nomad, you're a little bit different from a retiree. Retirees are looking for specific places to settle down for a long period of time.
I'm kind of
looking at that as well.
Yeah,
you would like to stay here for years.
Because I'm older and I'm more into like chill things than nightclub and that,
And this is a chill place to be.
Like I say, I love where I am now. If it wasn't for walking up that mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I took a Uber here, and it was 25 minutes, and it was probably $4. So I don't have to go up and down the hill.
I mean, we came here from Parquilleras and paid 8 mil pesos.
$2.
8 mil pesos, and this is about 25 minutes. But you see, that first scam coming from that airport in Rio Negro, they'll make you feel like, man, did I just land in hell? Is this how every taxi is going to be?
It's very expensive coming from the airport.
Right.
But you can take a bus. I was scared too. I mean, I'll admit it. Because with all my luggage and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. I carry a desktop with me. You carry
public transport.
You carry all your drones.
I have my drones, my DJI equipment.
Buses aren't ideal in that situation because all the luggage is stored underneath. I lost everything on the bus once in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Because our bus broke down and we got off without our luggage and somebody got on the bus and went through our stuff.
Really?
Yep. I had a Nikon camera, a tablet. They even freaking took my glasses. My prescription glasses.
Looking in eyes.
3 bus breakdowns on that one stretch going to the airport. Obviously, I missed my flight. I ended up in Guayaquil, Ecuador. Not a safe city.
No.
At the police department at like 3 a.m. trying to file a report in the airport after missing the flight. Another communication thing where they didn't speak much English. And they were trying to charge me like $4,000 for me and my wife and my mother to rebuy our tickets after I got robbed of luckily it wasn't passports or IDs or anything.
Right, that would have been a nightmare.
But what sucked for me is, this was probably a couple of years ago and I didn't have anything on that camera back then. And we were on our way. 10 days of beautiful.
Dang.
But luckily we had our phones, but not as good as the Nikon.
Right.
And once again I was warned, don't bring the Nikon, and then I had no problem. But this was my fault. I should not have gotten off that bus and separated, even
myself
though
from your belongings.
Exactly. It was just,
if you can't see it, you don't know what's going on with it.
In hindsight, it was my fault. I forgive myself. You hear all these stories online, and that's true. There's a lot of bad things that happen to Americans, expats, and things like that. But if you look deep into it, you see what happened.
You see why it happened.
Exactly.
And then a lot of times what I'm finding out now is that the people that these things are happening to are repeat offenders.
Right. Yeah, I admit I was nervous. I didn't want to take the bus in, you know, that kind of stuff. But if you don't have a lot of luggage, a lot of expensive things,
Right.
definitely take the bus. I think it's like $2, and it'll drop you off at El Poblado. You could have walked there,
Right, exactly.
you know. So $2 compared to 25 is good.
But
Yeah.
it's
and
also
I know
hard.
it sounds ridiculous when I was watching these videos, like in preparation. It's like, yeah, who cares? $23, you know, whatever. But once you're here for a while, you start to think in pesos.
Yeah.
You start to like.
And it's like,
really,
I don't want to pay anything over 100,000
Right.
if I don't really need to. You know,
I don't have
absolutely.
to. Yeah, like him last night. He needed some smokes. I'm like, just have them delivered. It's $1. He's like, but I get one. You know, and
Yeah.
I feel the same way too.
Yeah, no, it's still right. Don't just come out throwing around
You don't
2
have
mil
to just
pesos.
pay with your money.
Right. Pay with your time too.
Yep.
If that's something that you're saying that you really would like to do.
And I've made mistakes, and I continue to do. You know, like yesterday, my tip.
Right,
you know,
right. That was because like it's still money.
I
It's
know.
still- So in closing, we've pretty much touched on a lot of
Yeah.
different subjects. We've
Very
gone
random.
over the baking, the living, the quality of life, extending your stay here permanently. What would be a final reminder to those that are about to do the same or want to do the same? Why Medellin?
A lot of the reasons I mentioned, for me at least, East Coast. We both flew here for under $100.
Right.
I mean, but we're in Florida, so.
And the cost of living is definitely less here.
I have kids. That was my only hesitation, and that's another reason that I did not want to go to Thailand. First of all, I want to bring my kids over.
Right.
And of course, I can't wait to have my kids here. You know, so it's not going to be an issue. You know, to fly them down. It's not going to take that much time.
Right.
You know, they can come make it a short trip. I could fly home I could probably fly home tonight, you know, and be in Orlando tonight and not spend more than $300 or $400 last week.
Right.
So that to me was huge. Second thing is the money is very important. If you have a lot of money and you can afford something else, you can look at basically what you want. I love everything about this place
Yeah.
in comparison. And the prices have a lot to do with it. I think the people more. I think the nature.
Okay.
more.
The nature.
And the whole healthy vibe, the family vibe, and there's a lot to do. You
There's a
know,
lot to do.
especially for me, who's legally blind and has to travel. The public transportation infrastructure here is excellent. This is a very innovative country. City. It won an innovation award in I think 2011 or 12. It's won a green award. It's won infrastructure awards. They're really doing a lot for the people here. If you ask two people, they're going to tell you two different things.
All right. So, and wrapping up, once again, this is Michael Chamberlain. He does web pages, web designing, graphic designing, search engine optimization. He is a digital nomad located in the Medellin area. He's been here for the last 3 months. And now that his visa has officially terminated, he'll be going back to the States and then picking back up in a little while. So thank you, Mike, for joining us. And we'll definitely be taking a look at this arcade up here. Can't wait to show you guys the arcade. It's huge.
Yeah.
So let's get in here and check some things out. Thanks again for your time and all your information that you were willing to give to not only myself, but to the viewers as well.
That's it.